First things that I want to talk to you about is when we're interviewing clients, or when your client comes in. A debtor comes in, he's got financial trouble, he's all about the garnishment, all about what he needs to do to stop whatever financial problem he's in. After you've done your analysis, which we're going to learn how to do, there are only 5 things you can do when somebody's in financial trouble. What do you think those 5 things are? Anybody have an idea? What do you do? If you're in a financial problem, what do you do?
I'll check the settings.
You can file a bankruptcy. That's correct. What else can you do? You can negotiate with the creditors and come up with a payment plan. What else can you do? Do what?
Settlement agreement.
Which would be possibly within the payment plan. Yeah, a settlement agreement is true. Go get more money. Get a second job so you don't have the problem, right? More money. Perfect. It's exactly correct. Work on your expenses. What else? There's only one more. There's only one more thing you can possibly do, which is actually a trick question. Do nothing. There's only 5 things you can possibly do. This is the forest. When you're in the forest, these are the 5 trees. Only 5 things you can possibly do. That's very important. It's going to be on your exam. You've got to know that. What are the only thing you can possibly do is you either have to find more money, lower your expenses, work out some sort of a payment arrangement, payment plan, settlement plan, file an outright bankruptcy to wipe out the debt and start over, or do nothing. If you're the little old lady on Social Security and you don't have a house and you don't have a car and the only money that ever goes in your bank account is Social Security and they can't take it, you can do nothing. But if it's for the rest of us, you better do something or else something's going to happen. And we've talked about that. They're going to garnish you your wages. They're going to levy on your bank account. They're going to come take your car. They're going, there are all these different things. They can put a lien on your house. They can sell your house. So you've got to do something, and those are the only 5 things. There's not a whole lot of things you can do to help your client find more money. You can certainly do debt counseling and go through their budget, and in every single person you will do that because you have to put a budget in the bankruptcy petition anyway. So you're going to work a budget and help them figure out expenses, and believe it or not, sometimes the answer is they do need to get additional income. You may find one or the other spouse is not working, or one of them's underemployed, and part of the remedy may be to get more money. Part of the remedy may be to lower expenses. So it's a combination sometimes. On the payment plan, you can work out a settlement with your creditors, as Parrish suggested. When you work out a settlement with your creditors, what some people don't know is anything you don't pay, they're required to file a 1099-C with the IRS, and you're taxed on it as ordinary income. So if you settle with your creditors at 60%, and then you've got, let's take $10,000, you settle for $6,000, $4,000 is going to be taxed as ordinary income. You got probably another $1,000 in taxes there, so you really hadn't settled for 60%. And you better know that up front, or you're not going to have enough money to make it all work. And the IRS, when they're your creditor and they're coming after you for the taxes, they don't slow down. So that's something you need to know. Also, a lot of times the debt settlement programs work like this. Pay me a fee every month, and I'll start negotiating with your creditors. Most creditors want you to be at least 3 months behind before they'll work with you. Other creditors won't. I had somebody today, everything was all worked out with all the creditors, but one of the creditors said no, and they sued them, and they got a court hearing next week. And so what happened to the debt settlement company? They said, well, we tried, sorry, we've earned our fees, but we didn't get them all worked out. We got 2 of them worked out, but not all of them. Well, if you don't get them all worked out, nothing's worked out, because they're still faced with a garnishment or a lawsuit if we don't do something. So the best payment plan, in my opinion, is a Chapter 13, which was founded in Birmingham. We call it Debtors Court here. It was a Chapter 13 payment plan, was here in Birmingham, worked out among all the creditors before it became federal law in 1933. The good news about the Chapter 13 payment plan is that it's a federally ordered plan. Once you get it confirmed, every creditor is bound. They can't say no. So you don't have that issue. It stops the interest on the unsecured debt. It lowers the interest on the secured debt. You can catch up the part that you're behind on your house. You get to keep your cars. You get to stop the foreclosure. It's a great payment plan. But guess what? If the budget with expenses and money don't work out, the payment plan doesn't work out. In which case, then the only thing left is a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is a liquidation. Quite often, that means somebody's going to lose something. We hope they don't. We hope they get to keep their house and their car. But again, we come back to the money and expenses because on a reaffirmation agreement to keep the house or car, we actually have to file a budget and prove that you can afford it, or else you're not allowed to keep it and continue to pay for it. So we have a constant battle between how much money they make, what their living expenses are. Very important. But the one thing I want you to know is there are only 5 things you can do when there's a financial problem.